XCRB moves on.
9:30 in Los Angeles.
This is 50,000 watt clear channel XCRB, Radio North America, Central Studios, Los Angeles, 1090 on your dial.
Here's to the crazy ones.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal?
Are we alone, or is there other life in the universe?
We shall never surrender.
The misfits.
More than 300 feet tall.
I am Petervan, and I will be your host on Petervan's Pirate TV. This show is also the very first episode of the Art Tribe edition. Our artist in residence today is Frank Poncelet. Frank is an independent artist, director and producer, and graduated from the Academy of Visual Arts in Ghent in 2017. You can find more about his bio in the description of this video. Hello Frank, welcome to the show.
Hello, I'm Frank Poncelet. I'm a visual artist. I mainly make movies, and we can say that I'm basically experimenting a lot, that I don't have a really hyper-defined style. We'll look later at a movie of mine where you can see what I've made the last 10 years. So you will see that style sometimes can be very different from left to right. There is one red line usually in my movies, and that is I combine universes. So I go looking for movies that were already made, and I go see, can I combine these universes? So an important thing there is usually that is in the sci-fi genre. It's my modular synthesizer. Some people will use this to make music. I usually use this to make sounds that fit with the movies that I make. But what is there important for me? Why does this object is so typical for me? Because it is partially homemade, partially off the shelf, partially invented by me, partially invented by others. It brings back very old technologies, and it brings in very new technologies, and basically mixes that into a new object. So you can see that parts of it are like the sides here, they're 3D printed. Other parts like this module over here is off the shelf. It's a module that I just did buy on the internet, while other modules I just invented by me and built by me. And all together, they try to make a unique sound that I can reuse. And yeah, it's a machine that just keeps growing, because every time you see the machine, I suppose you can say, oh, it looks different again. It's because the machine keeps growing, it keeps reinventing itself, and it keeps finding new horizons.
So what this says about you is that, and I think we're going to see it later, is that you build a lot yourself.
Yes, and yeah, the other aspect is keep growing, which is also a very important aspect. As I said, the machine, it contains all kinds of things that have been built over time, over a period of 10 years and more. And it just keeps growing. And I tend to try to do that for myself also. Just keep growing. Find new horizons, find new technologies. I usually work with technologies. So I try to always keep that in mind. Keep growing. So there I want to show you something else. We saw a starship in one of the movies, and I'm taking it a little bit closer now. So here it is. Yeah, if I go back, you can see the size of it. It's almost 18 centimeters. And yeah, it's basically the main role in one of my movies, and in a second one that is coming up that we're making right now. And it is interesting to see. I like to play with how are the movies made in the late 60s, in the beginning of the 70s. And well, what are we looking at then is that I'm using physical models to photograph, because yeah, it's animation movie. So basically I photograph, I don't really film, and I put them in new environments. So the little guy that was photographed, you see him here in the foreground now. But if we look at how all this was photographed, you see it's mainly photographed inside green screens, in boxes like this, where then the backgrounds, I can't really afford to build these huge sets. Yeah, you have to be with ILM to afford these huge sets. So I digitally add the huge sets afterwards, where we then come to basically images like this. This is basically the same image, but this is the before image, and this is the after image, and this is the image and how the photograph was actually taken.
Can you just rewind a bit, Frank, and also explain that you made the models yourself?
Yes, we can basically see this in this picture. This is the rear of the model that I just shown you. So usually there's a lot of reuse. Yeah, you just buy some kits. If you look on top of here, you see these are parts of tanks and stuff that have been repurposed. The tubes that you see that make up the engine are basically just electrical wire tubes that normally run in the walls of your house. The blue parts, that's interesting. The blue parts are 3D printed parts, where basically I said, yeah, I want to basically remodel this piece in this case 12 times. I want it to be identically the same. So I 3D print the piece and I just glue them on, and like that, the whole model gets constructed to its hole, where it then gets photographed like this in a green screen.
Are you going to tell us more about the pellicule and how you made the pellicule?
Well, the pellicule is a whole other story. As I said, I like to use a lot of different styles, and the pellicule was made on real pellicule. So it was 16mm video, and I found it such waste that we were able to only show it once. It was projected in a projector. It was shown, but it was never shown again. And I found that such a waste of all that work. And so I went looking for companies that would digitize that movie for me. I looked here in the environment of Ghent, and I went to a few guys, and every time they gave me the same answer. They said, yes, but you mistreated that film so hard, you mutilated that film so hard, I will not put that into my digitizing machine, because there is a risk that I will damage the machine, and yeah, I don't want that. So what I basically then did is I decided to build my own digitizer. And you see it here on my kitchen table, where it's working basically on pellicule 2 already. Which it is a very simple device. I put my camera on its side because the film is also basically on its side, and we photograph image per image. There is an engine underneath that can basically move the film each time one frame, and it then triggers the camera to take one picture. And yeah, as we know, film are just pictures in a sequence. So I use some Python script afterwards to basically put it back together to some film. And like that, we can make pellicule 2.
That's great, Frank. What I'm always curious about is when we have artists on the show, to know more about their artistic dimension. And when I mean artistic dimension, I mean the poetic dimension, the why of your work, the context it fits in. It's basically the why question
Yes.
of your work.
The why question is rather personal, I think. It's not that I really want to change the world and that I want to fight, I don't know, some political goal or something like that. It is more, how can I grow in art? What can I do while building? And how can I tell stories while building? And yeah, show others that you can do a lot with very basic means. If you look at, I think it was this picture. No, it's not that picture. It's this picture. There is not much in this picture. Okay, it took me quite a while to build this model, but we made a whole movie around this model with just some leaves of green paper and the model, and another model and a few puppets. But that was basically it. So you can do quite a lot, even in movie making, with very basic means. And that is definitely something, a message that I want to give to people that are starting this art form, making movies. So when you really don't need $1 million camera. You don't need a set as huge as a whole house. You can do it with quite simple stuff, and you can have quite good results. Yeah, so what is next? Well, I currently accepted a very large project. It's a strange time, Corona. All film festivals are online. But still, the film festival in Lisbon, Monstra, asked me to produce for them a set of movies, and they all have the same theme. That's good. That is, how good is the Art Academy of Ghent? So I'm collecting works of students again over the last 10 years, a little bit like my show reel. And we are making a feature-length movie out of that. That is the first out of those movies, so 70 minutes, 70 minutes. A second one of 15 minutes, a third one of 15 minutes, and the very last one, which will be a trailer format of about 2 minutes 40, something like that, a cinematic trailer, that you will see showing up on my YouTube channel, I think somewhere beginning of January. For the real movies, yeah, you will have to, if the Monstra festival is real, then you will have to go to Lisbon. If it happens to be an online festival, where chances are very high at the moment, I think, you will probably be able to buy an online ticket and see the movie over there.
And when is the Monstra festival? When is it?
From 10th of March to 20th of March. That's why I say chances are very high that we will still have that in an online format.
Maybe a shameless plug. How can people help you with that? What is required? What do you need? Do you need sponsors, Patreons, artists?
But the most important now is that ex-students of the Ghent Academy send in their works. They all have had already a few mails of us. And works are coming in, so that is good. We already have a jury, so that's also quite good. So we will do a selection the last week before the December holiday, the Christmas holiday. And then it will be editing. So if somebody wants to help editing, they're definitely welcome.
So where can they find you? How can they contact you?
But the most easy way is to contact me through my YouTube channel. It also has a request email thing.
Okay, we'll put the YouTube channel at the bottom here when you say that. I'm always interested in, if you have a sort of plan, where do you see yourself as an artist in like 5 years from now or 10 years from now? Is there a plan?
Well, there is no plan over 5 or 10 years. That is definitely true. Where do I see myself? I definitely want to go more back, let's call it to say like that, where we film more with physical models. It will stay CGI backgrounds. As I said, my studio is not big enough to do real physical sets. So I can only have a relatively small sets, but I definitely want to do more with filming models. And I would say the great ambition there is to really to make a larger film, feature-length film like the Monstra film, where we say let's go for 70 minutes.
What would be a dream to make this this film a reality?
But the first step comes with the team. So the team will need a budget. And yeah, you can't fit a team in my small studio, so you will need a large studio. And that large studio, once again, will eat funding. So I think the major problem the team will bring will be large funding. My message to all artists out there, doesn't really matter if you're a video artist or a music artist or whatever. It is just do it. Many people will say you can't do it. It won't work. It won't, and it's possible that it won't work, but you will only know that it doesn't work once you've done it. So just do it. Believe in yourself. There is only when you're an artist and you want to start something, you're always not qualified to do that. And there's only one way to get qualified, to actually do it. And yeah, once you've done it, then you're qualified, but you're probably moving on to the next thing where you're not qualified anymore. So base message stays, just do it, make it happen.